youtube.com/MayhewMayhem. That's youtube.com/MayhewMayhem.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I am your host, my name is Michael Mayhew, and I am here with my co-hosts.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Greg, and we are once again joined by
Nick from youtube.com/TicTacMan. And joining us is my intern, my hetero life mate,
Emmanuel. Hola, mi amigos.
And as I said, welcome to 30 Minutes of Mayhem, the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. This episode is a continuation of episode 82, so you might want to go back and listen to that episode before we get started here.
Welcome to my mini-mart. How may I help you?
put the money in the bag!
So, how do you guys feel about virtual reality?
You know, honestly, I kind of feel like it's going to be the future of gaming.
I really think it's just going to go the way of motion controls, you know, like a dodo.
See, the only thing I want it for is just that POV porn to where you got it on, but I just think about, like, imagine you have your Google Cardboard on, you got the headset on, you're just fucking going to town on yourself, and then your parents walk in or whatever, your whole fucking family's there.
Shut up!
You're caressing my face with a gun. If you're going to rob me, that's fine. Just please don't kill me.
Rob you? No. We're supplying you with a product for the donation you're about to make.
But could you please take the gun out of my mouth?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I get carried away sometimes. You know, you could have easily prevented this by donating via PayPal using 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com.
Of course. I will like and share on Facebook. I will do any. Dios míos.
Oh. Well, shit. I, did not mean for that to happen.
We need to get the fuck out of here. Nick, what do you got for this one?
I quite clearly remember this because I had found a porno mag in the woods, and I'm sure like some hunter left it there because it was near a popular tree stand, because it was just one that someone just built out of pallets and a lot of people used it. So there's one just like chilling in the leaves, and me and my buddy find it, and I start stashing that in the woods. And me being a kid, not knowing how that shit works, but I liked what I was seeing because I like flip through it. I'm like, oh yeah. So I'd like put my dick on that page. Come on,
eat it.
I was just like, this is what they do, right? You just lay your dick on the page, right? But so it wasn't even like a full spread magazine. It was like a little pocket Bible of porn. But here's the thing, like...
I take it back. That might be my autobiography.
The pocket Bible of porn. But the one friend I found it with, like, eventually tells that we found that. And so, like, my dad and his dad go out in the woods hunting because they know where I stashed it. They're like, where did you find this? So here's my first reaction as a kid. Because my brother had porn stashed in the ceiling of the basement. Fucking I ratted his ass out. I fucking like, it's Dan's. He's been hiding it out here because he was scared he was gonna find the stash in the house, and I fucking ousted his stash in the house too to make 100% certain they believed it was entirely him.
Wow.
Oh my god, you
man.
fucking snitch.
That's good though. That's manipulative as fuck.
That definitely did it clear your name?
It did. It completely cleared my name and my friend Josh of all wrongdoing.
Well,
Because his dad was pissed at him for having found it and just like gone. They went out in the woods. I'm certain they found it and destroyed said book, but like the fact that I
destroyed it, I'm sure.
I threw like my brother under the bus like that. Oh, like it was great. It was great. And in a response though, my grandmother did buy him a subscription to Playboy.
Nice. So I don't think it clears your friend of all wrongdoing because he's the original fucking narc that got this whole situation started. So without him being a bitch, then you would have never been in the situation you were in. So it doesn't clear him of all wrongdoing. You said you had an answer for this one, Emmanuel. I don't know what the porn is like in Mexico. I know that like there's donkey shows and stuff there. Nick, you were telling us about... No, never mind. Let's not get to that.
Yeah, we don't talk about the donkey stuff when we come over here.
I'm pretty sure you guys promote that on flyers. Don't try to tell me that you don't talk about it.
It's 50-50. My situation's almost kind of similar to Greg's, except...
You got caught?
No, not really. Did fess up like a bitch, though.
Ooh.
I was still learning. I didn't know about, this magical thing called search history, or
autofill. So you're trying to type in, say, the word portable or anything that begins with the word P, and Google's like, well, let's look at what you recently searched up, and it's porn. I didn't clear my history. I didn't even know history was a thing. I learned a harsh lesson that day. Very harsh lesson.
His father made him watch him beat off. His father's like rubbing one out. Look what you did, Emmanuel.
No, papi, no.
You got the fucking donkey neighing in the background, or whatever the fuck the sound they make is.
It was neighing the whole time.
you got that going on, and it's because your neighbor's over there fucking your donkey as your dad's actually jerking off to that because the TV screen, the computer screen that you're talking about is actually the window because you don't have the internet.
Read me like a pamphlet.
It's pretty much a third world country, so.
Yeah, it essentially is. But you know what? I gotta say this before Greg starts yelling about it. Greg, I know you're a pro wall, but let's just calm down and think about the fact of donkey shows. You build that wall, it'll be harder for you to get to a donkey show, Greg. Just saying.
God, you're right.
Much harder.
So my experience, I feel like I'm a genius.
Go on.
I was gloating for a second there. Supposedly, according to everyone, I'm a self-loathing narcissist. Maybe they're right. And that I love to hear myself talk. And that on the show, I talk entirely too much. You know what? I corral everybody. And yeah, I guess I talk a little bit more than everybody else. So I feel like I'm a genius sometimes. Other times, I feel like I should kill myself. So there's a fine line between genius and
blowing your brains out.
Exactly. Or blowing my load in this context, right? So I happened to stumble across somebody else's collection of porn in my house. So as my young mind was like, okay, I don't want to get caught with these like magazines or whatever that I have. So I stored my stash with their stash.
Brilliant.
So imagine...
I mean, that's definitely, that is genius. I'm gonna say that.
Someone in your family thought they were getting visited by the porn fairy.
So
it's like, oh, I was good this year. It makes sense.
So let's just put this in terms of like Greg, for example. So now, say, Greg, you happen to stumble across your dad's porn collection, right? Mm-hmm. And you have your porn collection, although you have no magazine experience, you have your porn collection. So you choose to store your porn collection with your dad's porn collection, right? Mm-hmm. And then say eventually down the line your dad pulls what Nick's dad did and dies. Then your mother
like pulling bullshit like that all the time.
Yeah, right. What the fuck? And then your mother finds your father's porn collection and you lose yours because he lost his, but you're scot-free, and they're like, what the fuck is going on with some of this shit? Because he may have forgot where his porn collection was at some time over the years, so there was a lot like different fucking shit in there because that's where you were storing yours to keep yourself like scot-free.
When the fuck did he pick up a copy of Blacktails?
I thought I was a genius. I stored my physical copies of my porn with another person's porn stash. That's what I did with mine. It got found after they had passed. I was like, oh, they're into some weird shit. And I was like, fuck, my porn collection. Shit. But at that point, I think I had probably also forgot about it too because I had moved and internet porn. We're going to bring this episode to a climactic finish next, but first let's take a commercial break. Hello, I see we have some new faces in the group today. It's always nice to see new people in the group, and I want you to know you're making the correct decision because admitting this is the first step of recovery. Since we have so many new people, I'd like to go ahead and go around the room and introduce yourselves.
My name is Emmanuel, and I've been struggling with it for years, but I think I'm ready to fight my addiction to heroin.
Boring.
Well, everyone normally gets their opportunity to speak, but is that Nick? You seem really eager. You want to tell us why you're here?
I have a pretty hardcore addiction. Shit you never even heard of, man. I'm addicted to buying merch from MayhewMayhem.spreadshirt.com. I waste all my money buying that shit.
All right. Anyone else want to share?
Hi, my name is Greg, and I'm addicted to interracial gangbang porn.
So speaking of coming to a climactic finish, get it? Coming to a climactic finish?
Oh, yes.
You make me want to kill myself.
Dude, everything makes me want to kill myself.
I think he was still imitating your dad, Greg.
My point exactly.
Greg's like, you know what? When I write, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Emmanuel. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, person in devil mask that I'm not exactly sure who you are that sneaks in my window and checks my rectal temperature. This is why I took a noose, put it around my neck, and parachuted off of a cliff. And that's a callback reference to a previous episode, which I don't remember. I think it's 77. But anyway, so speaking of bringing everything, your life, to a climactic finish, or coming on your computer and then your dad finding it, or whatever, I didn't know that this was a thing that other people did until more recently. Because this is something, I'll just take it right off the bat. This is something that I do. And
Doo-doo in the doo-doo hole.
Doo-doo comes out of there. That's why I won't put my tongue on it, because doo-doo comes out of there, just so everyone knows.
In the heat of the moment, it's okay.
Nah, man, dude, like...
Let's save this topic for another episode.
I think we've actually talked about this in the past, but who knows?
I was expecting Greg to also start singing In the Heat of the Night.
So we're talking about tongue and buttholes. We'll save that for a later time. So the question for this one is, do you like to climax at the same time as the people in porn? Or do you ever rewind it so that you can climax at the same time because of how good the video itself is? Now, as I said, this is something that I do. And I've never talked about it before because I was just like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of a weird thing. But I'm very much an open diary in the aspect, not an open book, but an open diary, in the aspect of, like, I don't give a shit. I'll talk about whatever. Obviously, if you've listened to any previous episode, yeah, I'm a little bit more out there than what I actually am on the show. But, I never really thought to ever talk about this because, it's just, I didn't think it was something that other people do. And then another person of the female type told me that apparently someone's dying. Does everyone hear the sirens?
Yep.
I went and hang glided myself.
So a person of the female type told me that if she finds a video that she really likes or whatever, she'll rewind it so that she can climax at the same time that, let's put actors loosely in air quotes, do. And I was like, no fucking way. We should totally get married because I do the same thing.
Whipped out the ring right there. You're like, here's my cock ring, marry me.
I was like,
let us climax together. We can just rewind.
My God, we should totally get married. I was like, my God, other people may do this. So that's why I wanted to see what you guys thought about this. So, do you fucking like to climax at the same time as the people in the porn? Or if you, like, miss the moment, do you ever rewind it to go back? Or do you watch the whole thing through and you're like,
no, because I'm weird, but I'm not that fucking weird.
Wow. Judgmental, man. Judgment. There is a subgenre there's a subgenre of porn that I absolutely fucking love. And there's, like, usually zero nudity to it, but it's literally just girls coming on camera, but it's like an up close of their face, so you get to see their pupils dilate and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I literally get off to that. That's like, there's days where I'm like, man, I just need a little something extra here, little something extra here, so I'll just turn that on, and the audio like helps. I mean, it's normally just like they're not even like trying to act like those, they're like, oh yeah, fuck, oh, it's just like, And then all of a sudden they hit that climax, and it's like natural noises, and I'm like, and there goes the nut.
I want to answer, but I'm curious to know what the Puritan Greg thinks.
He already
I'm not
just
a Puritan. I just said that I'm not weird like that. Well, okay, I shouldn't say weird, but I don't
jerk off to illustrations.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
That is true. I mean, I am weird. Like, I've been on this show long enough for, like, people who've listened to this to realize that. But, basically, no, I don't do that. That never even really occurred to me. Like, it was just, I bust when I bust. So
the woman's pleasure isn't even a concern for you. That's very inconsiderate. That's pretty much what this is coming down to. That's that's legitimately what it comes down to, because I get going down is a treat to me because I love making a woman come. And that really I get pleasure from that, not sexual pleasure, just gratification for making them finish. And that noise, the sounds and the actions they make really just gets me off in all the different a bunch of different ways.
Nick, Greg doesn't know this because he has never done this. So if you want for Greg to have these experiences and you want to punch Greg's V card, email 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com. You can tweet us on Twitter, or send us a message on Facebook, and we will set something up. So if you want to come on Greg's face, female come on Greg's face, or guy, you know what, whatever, Greg. I'm not gonna judge you. I know, like, you know, this is not past judgment on me. If you want to have a vaginal orgasm onto Greg's face,
and I would definitely appreciate that.
If you want to squirt pee in his face, whatever the fuck.
Okay, not like that.
No. You said, I mean,
you want to smear shit on the walls?
Is doo-doo a hard no for you, Greg?
Yes.
So, like, okay, so I'm going to have to cut out that doo-doo's a hard no for you because it may turn some people off of, like, wanting to participate.
But what if I don't want those people to participate?
That's fine. You just, like,
he wants the people.
No, listen, the goal is to get you fucked, right? Like, someone's into, like, doo-dooing or being doo-dooed on. Okay, does it make a difference? Like, okay, what if they just want you to shit on them, but they're not going to shit on you? Is that still a hard no for you?
I still don't know if I could do that.
Well, I don't think I could. I think I'd just lose them.
We just feed you a bunch of Taco Bell and you'll be alright. You won't be able to control it. You'll have to shit.
And they'll just be like, bam, shit on my tits. Shit on my tits. And he'll be like, well, I gotta really shit right now, so I might as well shit on her tits.
He's like, I'm about to doo-doo Jackson Pollock your body. Because it's gonna spray everywhere. And
AKA all of Jackson Pollock's work.
Yeah. Doo-doo. Greg, you don't know if you could shit on somebody? Like,
I probably could if they really wanted me to, but that'd be really weird and awkward for me.
One of my deeper, darker desires is to fly over to London, just like
we've talked for about so many fucking times on the show.
Yeah, for a layover or something. Just get a prostitute, cheap one, just tie her to the bed, rent it out for 3 days. You know, pay cash, shit on her chest, and then just fly away. Do not disturb signs up, but just bam, just ruined her life.
Wow, beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Greg, is that I don't know, have we got to the bottom of this, or whether you could leak fluids out of your
probably
body onto
couldn't.
another person? Okay.
I probably couldn't. It'd just be like, unless they gave me laxatives and tricked me into doing it, like I probably couldn't do it. Like I couldn't like physically.
How do you get tricked into shitting on someone's chest? That's what I.
Well, like they lock me in and they're like, the only way you're going to the bathroom is if you doo-doo on my chest or something like that.
He like sits on this toilet and his straps come up over his legs and around his waist, and then the actual it's just the seat and like 4 legs in it, and the actual rest of the toilet piece just slides out and the person just slides in there and they're like, the only way that you're shitting is if you shit on me. Like, is that how you get tricked into it? How the fuck else are you?
I don't know. I don't know how to say.
Greg's sitting there for an hour trying to look at memes, but he can't reach his phone because his fucking legs and belly's fucking strapped to this fucking thing. And he's like, God damn it, my legs are going to sleep, and you just have to poop to get out of it. And that's the only way I think you get tricked into shitting on somebody.
That's not even like really getting tricked in. You're literally.
That's the old toilet switcheroo. That age-old fucking.
Oh, I remember when my grandfather told me about the time he got the toilet switcheroo on him. World War II, he was in Austria, and then all of a sudden he's going to take a poop, and then bam, there's a girl right beneath him. You got a poo-poo on my chest now. Heil Hitler.
Gotta throw the Nazi fetish in there too, don't you?
The doo-doo Nazis, like, Jesus Christ, the old toilet switcheroo.
Christ, that sounds like a bad porno. Oh my God, that sounds like one of the worst things you could ever watch.
You know what's so fucking funny about that, right? Is like one of the biggest things in Germany is like fucking scat, right? Yeah. So doo-doo Nazis is probably already something that exists.
I had no idea about this.
You never did? Like, that's like literally one of their claims to fame.
So we're talking about genres of porn, but we're past that point. So Greg, you just blow when you blow. Nick, what you were saying yes, but you like to finish at the same time as them. So Emmanuel, what were you saying?
Looks like I'm gonna have to go with the overwhelming majority, Greg. Yeah, I do that sometimes. Actually, I don't know if you guys do this, but like, if there's like a
compilation.
No, I don't like those. Actually,
there's different types of compilations.
I mean, yeah, but there's not a lot of build up to the compilations.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I'm also actually going back real quick. I'm also in the same boat as Nick, where eating out is a treat, and I'm not talking about fast food.
Although,
and that's the only way the lesbians
so is that.
Get off,
but
so
I'd probably be doing a lot more of that eating out if I did a lot less of the actual one. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm in the same exact boat with Nick there. I'm like, there have actually been days where I I legitimately tell myself I'd rather eat a taco than have my dick sucked. But that's just me. Maybe I'm weird.
You know, there's this technique. We call it the tip for two, and it's called 69ing. It's you get the best of both.
But Nick, my body shape is about an 8, so it can't really work like that. It's too lumpy.
To clarify, he's saying the physical form is actually an 8, not a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is you just got to be on top in that situation.
Well, he doesn't want to smother her either.
Yeah.
Don't judge him and what he wants to do.
Don't put words in his mouth.
Nick, don't act like don't act like you have.
Stop putting words in my mouth. I'm the one. He's speaking on my behalf.
Well, I know, and I mean it's not words you want in your mouth. Obviously, it's vag.
That's a word.
That's also that's very much a word, Greg. What the fuck?
It is a word, but it's also a thing. It's not just a concept.
Like I'm not gonna let us gloss over the fact that Nick was saying something about Emmanuel smothering people. When don't sit here and pretend like Nick hasn't smothered people, multiple people.
They're hardly people. They're not even to the age of reason yet.
Oh gosh.
They have a whole different sticky drawer syndrome. It's like doo-doo instead of cum. I think the thing with this is I've only had this experience a few times, like twice I want to say in my life. But if you've ever been with another, with a significant other or whatever, and you both finish at the same time, it sounds like one of those things that's like storybook shit, to where it's like that doesn't really happen. Well, I've had it happen twice, and I'll tell you this much. When it does happen, it's a real thing that happens. When it does happen, it's the craziest shit, because you're both of your bodies are kind of convulsing at the same time, and you don't exactly have control over everything that's going on. So it's intensifying both sides of the coin.
If I can lay a simple explanation to this, instead of it feeling like you're just shooting a load, it feels like the load is being forced out of you and just vacuumed out of, literally just being drawn out of you. And the intensity of it just cranks from, it's like, oh yeah, this is normally like a 7, to fucking oh, when did 11 get into part of this? It's not even supposed to be on the scale here.
I thought for a second you started making a Stranger Things reference. I was like, God damn it, Nick.
It's like, I love that upside down.
She can run away.
He likes to chase, but anyways, but yeah. So I don't know. Obviously, Nick being able to describe it very accurately, he's done that. I'm sure Emmanuel has possibly never made a girl come before, but whatever. We know that Greg hasn't.
Mostly men on Emmanuel's
Fuck
part.
you,
men.
Gringo. I have.
Okay, so have you ever done it at the same time?
I have not achieved that.
Okay, so
see all he can do is make lesbians come. That's all he can do, is just bring lesbians to climax with his mouth.
Kill you.
So I think that factors into wanting the climax at the same time as somebody else's. And once you have that experience, there's just no going back. You always want that experience because of how crazy it is. I can just let it go on a thing just to see how it'll happen.
Cabin boy, what is that I hear coming from starboard?
Why, sir, that is a group of isles we dare not venture to.
Nonsense. I am the Christopher Columbus of porn. All the internet is my cornucopia.
But, sir, our ship is not made for those seas.
I hardly believe it. The HMS Christopher Columbus of xxx.tumblr.com can handle the most penetrating of black waters, the hardest slapping to the bow, the largest white-crested waves crashing over its face.
Though it is the most navigable sea in the world, 'tis the most crowded.
Tell me of these seas.
'Tis the seas of podcast, the Isles, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker.
In this siren song I hear?
Now that, sir, is the sound of 30 Minutes of Mayhem, the podcast your mother can be ashamed of.
This excites the desired white goo for my flesh pole.
If you could go back in time, have sex with any famous woman when they were young or alive, who would it be?
You know, this one was going to be a tough one for me, but since Beyonce is still alive, and it was going to be a toss-up between the two, I think I'm just going to... I'm going straight for the throat here. Audrey Hepburn. Greg's just like, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Well,
that came out of nowhere.
I mean, I could definitely understand that. I mean, yeah, back in the day, I mean, she was like one of the like pinnacles of like hotness in like Hollywood back in the day. So I mean, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Get into that.
Yeah, well, not only that, but also like I could definitely like
pound in it.
Sort of like see where you're coming from, but I can't think of. It's like there's a better word for it than that, but I can't think of the word, and like I'm making myself look like an asshole here, so I'm just gonna shut up now.
Isn't that what this is about anymore? Making ourselves look like assholes?
That is true. Okay, so never mind. I mean, if by now nobody thinks that we're, like, our viewers don't think that we're all in some way assholes, then they probably haven't been listening for very long. I think I'm going to have to go with somebody a little I don't want to go with a very obvious one. Because I feel like that would be, like, that would be too easy.
So you're saying Audrey Hepburn was easy?
You're just putting words into my mouth. I never said anything like that.
I'm just saying 63-year-old Audrey Hepburn could take me today.
She's dead.
I know.
What I'm saying is, you're talking about don't put words in my mouth. I'm just sitting here thinking about the time he may or may not have put other things in your mouth while wearing a double mask, but whatever.
That is true. If I could go back in time and have sex with Joan Jett.
There you go. That's not bad.
She's approaching 60 and she's still actually pretty attractive. So, I mean, you know, that's actually pretty fortunate. But yeah, I mean, back in her heyday, like, man, I would totally love to just, you know, go to town on that. Then just because I'm a huge fan of her music. Like, I've been a huge fan of her music for a while now, so.
So, Emmanuel, what do you think? Preferably an American actress, so that we'll know who you're talking about.
That's also why I left out Hildegard of Bingham.
I would say if I could just go back in time and do with anybody, it would probably just be I'm into flapper girls, so it'd just be like any like decent flapper girl, I guess. But if it had to be somebody famous, I don't know. I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to stars. What about Julie Andrews?
You could have just went with Michael Keaton, like I said. I mean, whatever.
Shit! I just thought of another one.
Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks
would have been another one, but no, I did just think of a female movie star who I would have gone back in her heyday too. I can't say it now though because I already gave my answer.
Rita Hayworth.
No, go ahead.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, easy pick there. That's.
Yeah, I mean, damn. I mean, like. As Catwoman in the second Tim Burton Batman movie. I mean, hell, man, when I saw that as a kid, I was like, oh, boy, that is awesome.
She's still slaying it today.
Yeah, she is, actually. She has aged very well.
She's still slaying it today. And she's got Scarface on her resume. Come on.
Yeah, that too.
I would have to say that the Tyrell grandmother from Game of Thrones back in her day was not unattractive at all. I mean, she's a fucking ridiculously old bitch now, but what I'm saying is, look up, I can't remember the actress's name, but somebody Google who plays the fucking, and then look at her name, and then look at pictures of her when she was younger. She's not bad looking.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
Was no one gonna say Marilyn Monroe? No one wants a stid.
I feel like that would be too much of a cliche.
She's not all that attractive to me. Like, I mean, she's an attractive woman, but it's just like.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is that like popular culture has kind of like.
Oh my God, Diana Rigg was stunning. Hell, she looks just like the girl they have playing her daughter. Well, close enough. Much more put together than her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Diana Rigg, that is
Nick
one hell of a choice.
Really.
God damn, man. Like, out of left field, you just slam dunk. That's not even the same game. Like, oh my God, yeah, no, she's phenomenal. Wow.
Looks like I know what I'm doing. Like, I know what I'm doing when I get off of here. On that note, that does it for another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I have been your host. My name is Michael Mayhew, and I have been here with my co-hosts,
Greg
and Nick.
Nope. God damn it.
Well, and fucked up.
And
shut the fuck up. And Nick.
Thank Emmanuel for being on. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, all of those different locations. And donate to us on PayPal via 30minutesmayhem@gmail.com because we can't do this without you guys. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And later, fellas.